It's a small flame in your heart. Every one of you has it. It burns steadily. Nothing can put it out. It's the voice within, your intuition. If you listen closely, it knows everything you need to know. When you add in your intuition, the flame grows. Your life becomes magical. Let's turn it on now. Intuition Ignition with your host, Kristen White.
It's a big question for so many of us. How can we find peace and be happy? Well, my guest today is Sandra Biskind. She and her husband are the authors of a series called the Codebreaker PLATINUM Series. And their first book is Peace, Power Up Your Life. Sandra, thanks for being here with me today.
Oh, it's great to be here with you, Kristen.
Sandra, I know that you and your husband Daniel offer a transformational community for individuals who are seeking spiritual growth outside of traditional religion. So how can we use these tools for growth to find peace in our lives?
Well, it's easy, Kristen, and I think that's the whole point of any tradition, that if it's easy, fast, and simple, people will use it and it will be effective. And we've developed a password called Platinum, which is peace, love, awareness, trust, integrity, neutrality, unity, and mindfulness. And when you have all of that working for you, happiness, peace, love, and joy are a given. So it's really about training the mind to choose what you want it to choose, not for what it wants to choose.
Now, is this something that can happen one time or two times, or is this part of an overall lifestyle shift?
This is a complete lifestyle shift. In fact, we call it the ultimate mind shift. It's a continuing, evolving training process. It's really about coming into a place of enlightenment, which, of course, enlightenment is our natural state when we're fully connected to our true self. And it's that state that's characterized by causeless love and limitless joy. It's really when you experience life without projecting your judgments onto other people. Great state to live in, obviously.
So when you are in peace, can you describe for me what you believe that looks like?
Yes, when you're in a state of peace, you know that nothing outside of yourself can bring that to you. But this is something that really comes from within you. So it's a state where you feel balanced, you feel whole and complete, where you can share who you are with other people, and no matter what they're saying or doing, it doesn't take you out of that place of peace. And you can get there by using a few tools, and I know that you know a lot of them. Meditation is one. We teach people how to do the 4 questions. That's another one, if you'd like me to go through that at some stage.
Absolutely. In just a moment, we're going to have to take a quick break. But when we come back, more with Sandra Biskind. She is the author of the #1 bestseller book, Peace, Power Up Your Life. It's part of the Codebreaker PLATINUM Series. So when we come back, Sandra, let's go over that 4-part process to really identify what might be getting in the way of you experiencing your best life. We'll be right back in just a moment.
You are listening to Intuition Ignition with Kristen White. To learn more about Kristen White, you can visit her website at KristenWhite.net. Who is driving your life? Kids, husband, career. Maybe it's time to hand over the keys to your higher self. This is the best place to start a conversation with your intuition. Grab a copy of Kristen White's #1 international best-selling book, Mystic in a Minivan, at intuitionpodcast.com. While you're there, get your free copy of 10 tips to ignite your intuition immediately. Again, that's intuitionpodcast.com. Thank you for listening to Intuition Ignition. Your intuition is just waiting to ignite. The first easy step is to subscribe to this podcast to receive new inspiration from our thought-provoking guests every couple of days. Visit intuitionpodcast.com to subscribe now. Again, that's intuitionpodcast.com.
All right, Sandra, before the break, we were talking about a process that you have developed for people to identify what might be getting in the way of being in a state of peace.
That's right. And we call this the 4 questions, and you can find these in the book. And the first question you're going to ask yourself is, what am I feeling? So obviously, if you're not feeling in that state of peace, you're out of it. So you need to get yourself back in as quickly as you can. So what am I feeling? Let's say in this case, it might be angry and frustrated. What am I focused on? And one of the things could be, well, they should do what I want them to do. Then the third question is, how do I want to feel? And of course, I want to feel peaceful and balanced. So what focus will serve that? The most important question of all, what focus will serve that? And of course, that's letting go of the need to be right, noting what you share in common with people, and accepting responsibility for your feelings. And those 4 questions can be asked at any time, and it will give you instant relief and bring you back into that state of peace.
You know, it's interesting because I feel, Sandra, that a lot of feelings other than peace or the opposite of peace are really what's epidemic in our society. I mean, people feel anxious, depressed, unsettled, confused, angry. I mean, if you check in, wouldn't you say that most people start there?
I would say everyone starts there. And remember that we're living in a society where we're being bombarded by so many things. But the most important thing is our own self-talk. Like, what are we saying to ourselves? Are we saying, I'm perfect just the way I am, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, I'm happy? But that's not what we're saying to each other. So everyone has this niggling negative self-talk, and that takes you out of peace immediately. Again, it's that retraining process and asking yourself the questions, what am I feeling? What am I focused on? How do I want to feel? And what focus will serve that? And of course, continuing with negative self-talk will never, ever bring you back to a state of peace. And it certainly won't bring any joy into your life.
What if people have always been in an environment that's negative? I mean, perhaps your parents were negative or you're in a stressful job. What do you recommend to people who are in that situation?
Okay, so we have another process, and it's a really fantastic pure energy detox thing. And people need to understand a clear understanding of their current life circumstances. And it could be that their parents are not ideal parents. It could be that they're being bullied at school. It could be so many things that have taken them out of peace and out of a happy life. So what they need to do, obviously when they're feeling confusion, overwhelm or conflict, they need to ask themselves, what is going on in my life? From that place, they need to ask themselves, the really big question is, can I accept that this is what is happening and I can move on from this moment? If you're feeling overwhelmed, you'd ask yourself, can I accept in this moment that this is what's happening? It will be different. I just have to take it one step at a time. And if you're feeling conflict with somebody or something in your life, you need to ask yourself that big question again. Can I accept that this is what is happening and I need to find resolution within myself? I need to go within myself and accept that this is what is happening. And I think if people come to this place of acceptance about what is, rather than fighting with reality, I mean, we can't determine what our parents do, what our parents say. We can only determine what we say and do. One other quick thing, remember this, it's none of your business what anybody else thinks about you. If you're continually listening to negative self-talk of other people, you will absolutely have an unhappy life. So you've got to get it right within yourself. You've got to know that you are an incredible divine being, that you're perfect. And as you train yourself to, use the 4 questions, use the pure energy detox, eventually you start to believe that you are this amazing, awesome being. And that peace is restored.
Yeah, very, very powerful insights and words. Sandra Biskind, we're going to take another quick break. Author of the new #1 best-selling book, Peace, Power Up Your Life. It's also included in the Codebreaker PLATINUM Series. We're going to talk more about that series in just a minute.
You are listening to Intuition Ignition with Kristen White. To learn more about Kristen White, you can visit her website at kristenwhite.net. Thank you for listening to Intuition Ignition. Your intuition is just waiting to ignite. The first easy step is to subscribe to this podcast to receive new inspiration from our thought-provoking guests every couple of days. Visit intuitionpodcast.com to subscribe now. Again, that's intuitionpodcast.com. Who is driving your life? Kids, husband, career. Maybe it's time to hand over the keys to your higher self. This is the best place to start a conversation with your intuition. Grab a copy of Kristen White's #1 international best-selling book, Mystic in a Minivan, at intuitionpodcast.com. While you're there, get your free copy of 10 tips to ignite your intuition immediately. Again, that's intuitionpodcast.com.
All right, Sandra, during the break, we were talking about patterns. I mean, some of this stuff just feels like it's Groundhog Day. It happens over and over again. Can you speak to us about patterns?
Well, all of us have negative life patterns. All of us have challenges that keep recurring over and over again. I mean, have you ever met anybody who's been in, quite abusive relationships, either emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, on whatever level, and they manage to extract themselves from that relationship. However, the next one is almost the same person in a different package, because they've still got these negative unconscious fears and unconscious programs running their show. So it's very, very important to be able to do some self-inquiry, to be able to understand, why do I keep bringing into my life these same patterns? And to then find out what the pattern is. I mean, a lot of people don't even want to know that they've got this pattern going. So it's getting honest with yourself, really wanting to have and live the best version of you, and then just doing what it takes to get there. And that is, on every level, you need to discover what the emotions are that get triggered off, that make the decisions that you're not good enough, and to completely delete them from your life. There's a really, really, to me, the most important thing running throughout the Codebreaker Platinum Series is the concept of forgiveness. And I know that you will want to talk about forgiveness.
Absolutely. Well, I think that forgiveness is important. I've heard before someone say that forgiveness is like, or lack of forgiveness actually, is like drinking poison and expecting that other person to die. It's so toxic on us to hold these resentment and judgment and all of those things.
Well, that was one of my most favorite Nelson Mandela quotes that you just talked about then, and that's in the books, of course. And there's a Dr. Jay Roberts who's, after a study he conducted at Harvard University, he discovered that forgiveness is bad for our health. So I'm saying now that it's enlightened self-interest to forgive. Because if you don't forgive, you have trouble with your autoimmune system, autoimmune diseases, increased blood pressure, increased cortisol levels, heart disease, cancer. And that, by the way, is a result of a study. But the benefits of forgiving, and I'm talking about not from your ego mind, not just saying, oh, I forgive you, and it's lip service, but really forgiving from the depths of your heart. You will live a happier, healthy life, better heart health. Everything about your whole being changes when you take that step to forgive from your heart. And notice I'm making a distinction here between heart and head.
Right. I think we could do an entire show on forgiveness, and I will invite you back to do exactly that. Sandra, and you and Daniel have a vision to create, I guess you call them circles. Can you just explain what a circle is and how people can work together in these circles?
Yes, we'll be launching the Platinum Circles early 2015, and that is where peer groups of about 7 to 8 people get together either once a week, monthly, whatever suits the host, and they sit in a circle of people who want to grow, become the best version of who they are. They'll use the Platinum code word to help them get there, and we'll be obviously supporting them on every level. And it's where they get to amp up their intuition so they know what they're feeling and how to interact and have better relationships. They'll learn how to really sit in that state of peace, love, and joy as they meditate. So rather than it being a mastermind group of high-powered business people talking business, it's going to be a mastermind group of high-powered, spiritually aware people who really want to grow and move their lives in the direction that they want it to move in, just not by default, but by clear intention.
Sounds like the spiritual place that so many people are looking for today. I mean, we have really seen that there's been a shift, that people are no longer going to church, but that doesn't mean that hunger and that search for spiritual nourishment has gone away. And it sounds like you're creating something. I know also, I want to add, you're from Australia. Your husband is a New Zealander and you are international. So you're here in the U.S. and you're also there. So how can people find out more about, you have more books coming out about you and your books and your circles?
If they go to the Biskind, that's BISKINDS, if they go to thebiskins.com, all the information about the incredible books and the mission, our mission to really help people become the best version of themselves with us as we all grow together on this wonderful journey of our lives, will all be on thebiskins.com.
All right. Sandra Biskind, author of #1 best-selling book, Peace, Power Up Your Life. It's part of that Platinum Codebreaker series. Thank you for being here with me today on Intuition Ignition.
Thank you, Kristen. It's been an absolute delight speaking with you.
Wonderful. So to everybody else out there who's listening, you already know the answer to every question you would ever ask yourself, and that answer lies within your heart. So just listen to what your heart has to say to you. This is Intuition Ignition, and I'm the mystic in the minivan, Kristen White. I'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for listening to Intuition Ignition. Your intuition is just waiting to ignite. The first easy step is to subscribe to this podcast to receive new inspiration from our thought-provoking guests every couple of days. Visit intuitionpodcast.com to subscribe now. Again, that's intuitionpodcast.com. And we love to hear from you. Don't forget to leave your feedback and your 5-star reviews on iTunes for us. We read every comment and encourage you to share this show with your friends. Intuition Ignition is another positive production of RareGem Productions. Thanks for listening.